Hello ladies and gentlemen. So some people go by a pond to meditate, some go to write poetry, and we come here because we got this new beautiful Fiido M1 Pro, newest, coolest electric bike. I am Witold and I'm gonna guide you through its features to show you what the likes and what the dislikes are. So let's fire that beast up. Actually, it's already fired up, and let's rock and roll. This thing is retro looking, and it is retro looking up to some point, and then on top you've got this BMX looking like handlebar, which gives it a pretty interesting impression, and you've got some height adjustment in here. So the shiny paint job looks really cool, and I think if you want to make an appearance, this might be a bike for you. Just take a look at that. If you want to go clubbing, if you want to go make an impression in the forest, it's all there. Looks kind of metallic or pearl. I think it looks really good and stylish. Jaki zły! He got mad. So whether dirty or not, this thing turns heads. Może tutaj? So what we've got here are 4-inch fat tires with a thing that is called ceramic layer. This is a synthetic fiber of unusual strength. So Fiido tells you that these are more puncture resistant tires, and I believe they might be because they would be a little bit more thick than your regular tires. One more thing, which is not your standard thing, is that you've got gears here. Well, I've seen some other bikes similar to this with no gears. This one has 7, and it might be a blessing for you if you run out of electricity, because if you do and you only have 1 gear, you're basically dying getting back home. Here you've got 7, so you can go from the fast speed to the low speed, and for example, if you gotta go somewhere uphill and the engine is not strong enough to do it on its own, then you will actually be able to successfully help it. And then if you can't make it up the hill, you've got to help yourself a little bit. So this thing is weighing 26.8 kilograms without the battery, which doesn't really count because you mostly carry it with a battery, which is like 5 kilograms or so. Let's say it's total 31 kilograms or something like that. Not the lightest, but if you gotta push it, it's not that bad. So, even if you're unable to get back, still you've got some electric support. That's still fancy. I still dig that. So I would say the weight is still fine for a fit guy like myself to throw it into an SUV trunk, but for a girl, I am not sure. And actually, speaking of which, if you want to throw it into a trunk of a car, that's when foldability comes into play. So you do this like that, and it actually looked much easier for myself than it probably is gonna be for you guys and girls, but this is how it actually fits much better into a car, even into an SUV, rather than being unfolded or just being a regular bike. So this is where foldable bikes win. This Fiido M1 Pro being one of them. So this thing is having 2 hydraulic brakes, which is also not a standard thing. Some bikes do have the mechanical. These are hydraulic. Actually, they are very smooth, which I know people are wondering about often. One thing I wish is that they were grabbing a little bit earlier. Weird thing is that this is your front brake and that one is there. What you see here is a falling bike. But so the maximum speed of this thing is 25 kilometers per hour, and that's when you're using electric only mode. You can also use pedal assist, and then you can go faster. And well, you've got a few modes that you can choose from. Some of them are to be unlocked in the Fiido app, So the first thing is just zero, so zero health. I'm actually not counting that as a mode. Then you've got eco mode, normal, sport, that's already 3. 4th is turbo, and the 5th is turbo plus. So they mean a specific assistance or like torque that's being added to the pedal assist mode. They do not really influence the electric mode, and that's how it works. So I'm gonna tell you that the suspension works. Oh, look, there's a screw and it's loose. Let's try to fix that. Okay, we need to do a little work. Okay, so about the advantages and the likes about Fiido M1 Pro. So the first thing would be, I think it's general style, because it catches an eye, it looks good. It's got this nice paint, which I actually would put as a separate point. The third thing would be suspension. I am unable to actually tell you guys whether this is a amazing suspension compared to some other bikes, e-bikes especially, or not, but it does the job, which means that it's really, I think, comfortable comparing to at least one other bike that we have. So you've got rear suspension, which is adjustable. You've got front suspension with 8 centimeters of travel, which is adjustable as well. So it's pretty comfortable. Another thing is foldability, and that this thing can fit into your trunk, basically. If you fold it, if you've got an SUV, if you fold the rear seats, this gets inside. So now about the dislikes, because there are a few. They are not terrible, but they are there. So the first thing I would say is that actually it's sort of an upgrade compared to the previous M1 Pro, which is that now there is a different handlebar and it's not folding. You've got to disassemble it if you want the bike to take less space and put it into the trunk without actually folding the rear seats, at least in the case of my SUV. So that is not folding, and actually the pedals are not folding anymore, because in the previous M1 Pro both the pedals and the handlebar were folding, not anymore. The second thing is the lack of the rear lamp. There is just this reflective thing here, which I think is a big downside from the design point of view. However, on the other side, well, it's very easy to buy yourself a lamp. It's just, you have to remember about charging it or replacing the batteries. It's a small thing. I'm sure there is some reason for that. Maybe it's about wiring or whatever, but you've got to remember about that thing. Otherwise, it's pretty cool. One more thing, well, you've got to remember that the ignition sort of thing is here on the bottom, and you've got the key that needs to be stuck there. It's a bit of a weird solution that it's sticking there. I think it's a pain in the ass, but if you remember about it, it's not a big deal. That's it, I think, in terms of downsides. You decide if these are important to you or not. Well, definitely the value is there. That's what we like. Who is this electric bike for? This Fiido M1 Pro. So I think first of all, this is for people who want to use it on all kinds of roads, in the city, outside of the city, more hardcore terrain, a little bit lighter terrain. We've done it all now. So that's the first thing. Second thing is style. If you like its style, it looks pretty cool. It's a head turner. People get excited seeing it. If you want to be in the center of attention, this thing can give you that. And the third thing is foldability. So if you just want to casually, quickly throw it into your car and just go anywhere you want to go, this thing is for you. And one last thing I think would be to show you where the battery is. So on this side, that's also utilizing the folding situation. Battery is right here. You got to use your key in some way. It's not that easy. You have to push it that way, take it out, take the key out. Now there's a handle, if you can see that or not, whatever. The battery comes out. You can take it with yourself home, to the office, to the restaurant, charge it in the meantime, steal someone's electricity, throw it back. use the key, which is a bit of a painful thing, but whatever. There's a bolt on this side. Can you show the bolt? Can you see the bolt? Anyway, there's a bolt here. So you've got to push the key inside and turn for the bolt actually to let the battery go out. And then close, lock, on, good to go. Unbreakable tires. As for the range, Fiido says it can go in its eco mode for up to 87 kilometers. Well, obviously that's optimistic. We use mostly electric. We've done like 15 on purely electric and we lost only 1 out of 5 dots. So it looks pretty fine, but it's going to be very different for all of you. So that's it. Thanks, guys.